Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Mitchell. I'm one of the senior education consultants at Schoolbox. It's great to see you all here today. Alongside me is my colleague, Lily Walters-Kwan. And today we're going to be presenting on assessing practices within your schools. So this is a campfire session. You may have seen that on your agenda. So we're going to start off with a little bit of a spiel from up here. Given the time, we're probably going to, give you the highlights. And then we're going to get to some table level discussion amongst yourselves. So if you are at a table right now where you are just sitting with people from your school, it would be good if you wanted to quickly rearrange yourselves as we get going, because this is all about sharing best practice and about sharing assessment practices across schools and what other schools are doing. So make sure you've got a range of voices at your table from a couple of different places. So what we're going to be looking at, and these are kind of the objectives that we've set out for ourselves, and these are the things that we want you to hear by the time you are done talking at your table. So we're looking at learning about different approaches to assessment within school. We heard earlier today when James spoke, we've got different ways of using Schoolbox to lead assessment and gather evidence. So how are you doing assessment within your school? We're also looking at how are you reimagining assessment? What worked maybe prior to you having Schoolbox, even prior to having a really developed ed stack. Assessment has come a very, very long way, but it continues to improve and change. So what is that reimagining? What does that innovation look like within your school? We're also going to look at what are the challenges that you have yet to overcome. We're on a journey with yourselves. We pride ourselves on listening to our customer feedback, on understanding where the next obstacle lies within your assessment practices and anything else that you do with Schoolbox. So it'd be great to unpack that at your tables as well, and we can get some feedback on that. So we're going to do a real quick highlight of what Schoolbox offers from an assessment point of view. We're just going to give you a really quick overview so that those of you that maybe aren't as familiar with Schoolbox can get on a little bit of an even playing field with those that have been with us for a long time. I'm sure some of you have got some of those 5-year, 10-year, 15 and 20-year badges on your lanyards. And I'm sure that you've got a wealth of experience to share with people. But we're going to go through this quickly. And to do that, I'm going to pass to Lily to begin. Thank you.
First up, we have our 5 learning activities. Just a quick recap of them. Are you already utilising at your school quizzes, lesson plans, tasks, due work, and projects? And on the next slide, we will have, Thank you. And then we have the student participation page, which is a reimagining of the custom participation workflow. So we're starting on a class page using the 3-dot menu on a learning activity to visit this dedicated student participation page. It's a 25.1 feature. And we have our classic options of modifying where you can perhaps provide an extension or excluding a student from that learning activity. But what we're looking at here is we are giving the student Eden Reed a copy of the learning activity, and this is automatically excluding her from the original one and including her in this new one. This is a total copy of the original due work. You are able to make significant adjustments. We can alter the description however we would like to, delete original attachments or add new ones. And in this way, we can simplify something for a student. And moving further down the page, we can see that you can apply a completely different rubric, a completely different grading scheme. Yes, so we've got some awesome options for adjustments there. And looking at another workflow from the student participation page. For NOAA, we are going to choose a completely new activity. Before we do that though, we can see the existing adjustments for students, and we're first including him back in that activity because we've decided, actually, I am going to make this work for him. I'm going to choose a task instead of a due work. And in this way, we can provide a simplification while this student can still access the same content. So hopefully the new student participation page will allow you to imagine some new ways of assessing your students. And onto a very important part of the assessment loop is feedback. On the left-hand side, we have an interactive worksheet in a do work item using our Kami technology, where teachers can provide inline feedback and also utilise their personal comment bank, perhaps to pick up on common things that students do. Perhaps you're asking them to structure their paragraphs in certain ways, and every student is structuring it in a particular way that you would like to comment on, and you can just over and over again provide that comment with Kami. On the right-hand side, we have the AI assistant inside the CK editor. You could provide a skeleton with your prompts to AI and then allow it to help you tailor it to a particular audience.
You'll all probably be familiar with the class markbook. It's kind of the bread and butter of keeping an eye on students' progress within a classroom. And that has a lot of different functionality, as the ability to up the level of visibility over due work that's had its grades published. You've got the ability to do some quick mark actions, which we introduced quite a few releases ago now. But that markbook really has been the core of assessment practice. We're really, really excited that as part of 25.0, we provided quick actions to the course markbook. And in 25.1, you'll also find a lot of new ability within the course markbook. So you'll be able to update the grade, the comment, and require resubmission for a student within the course markbook now. So you can do cohort level marking. If you are going down and vertically marking a particular assessment as a teacher, that's going to unlock a lot of different workflows. You'll also be able to jump straight to view and grade that particular assessment. So a lot of different things happening within that course markbook that's going to unlock things within your teaching practice. You'll also notice that when you have the ability to click on the name of the learning activity, you will also be able to go to a cohort level view status page that will bring up the entire cohort's grades on a single screen, all of their comments, all of their grades, and you can go through that workflow instead to do your moderation, to check on teacher marking, and make sure that you're satisfied before you release those grades to students. You'll also be able to modify the assessment across the whole group. You'll be able to import feedback if you've done your marking offline and you need to import that feedback into Schoolbox, either as a comma-separated value, that will be possible, and you'll also be able to bulk publish drafts as well. So we're hoping that that as a head of department or as a departmental workflow will unlock a lot of different things and stop you having to navigate between different markbooks in order to do those things. There'll be more information on course markbooks later in Meetup. As James talked about this morning, we've done a lot of work around our curriculum, so the ability to build out curriculum. We've got a lot of different packages available now, so there are a lot of installable packages that save you time and effort in building out curriculum. But of course, you have the ability to build bespoke curriculum, whether that be your approaches to learning. For our schools of character, it might be something like biblical perspective. So you have a lot of different ways to build and codify curriculum within the platform. And as a part of that, we also have the curriculum overview, where you're able to look at curriculum codes that have been assigned to different courses and the different aspects of that course, whether it be rubrics, learning activities, units, courses, and you'll be able to see where those things have been mapped, and you'll be able to take a look at the different gaps in your coverage or potentially where things are overtaught and undertaught. We're very acutely aware that no software in the entire world is the master of all. And there are times when you are going to want to take your assessment data out of Schoolbox and utilize it in different ways. Each school has very unique contexts as to how they look at their data, how they use their data, how they manipulate their data. So it's really important that we provide an endpoint for you via our API so that you can pull that assessment data out of Schoolbox and utilize it in ways that you see fit. So I just want to draw everyone's attention to the fact that we do have publicly documented assessment API endpoints. Schools are using that in order to pull their data and use it in different sources, add it to their data lakes, populate it into different systems. So that is available to you as well.
When considering assessments, it's also important to think of some of the more innovative ways that we can recognise student achievement. The curriculum mapping that Anthony mentioned earlier can be done to learning moments and badges, and we do see schools using these features to recognise student achievement, but not only academic success, also things like, are they demonstrating the school values? Are they part of the environments club or something like that? And moving on to one of our first campfire questions, where you finally get a chance to talk to each other, which is I know that's why you're here. How are you using Schoolbox learning activities or integrations to build engaging digital assessment? How do you balance student engagement with teacher workload and efficiency? We're going to hand over to you for a few minutes. We'll call you back in a bit, but we hope that you can have some really deep discussions together about assessment at your schools.
All right. I hope that first question has sparked some great discussion. It's going to keep going, okay? If your table's really involved in that question right now, you can get straight back to it. But we're going to prompt a new question now, so if you want to move on and start talking about something else, you're more than welcome. So the next question is about how does the reimagined student participation feature, so the thing that Lily demonstrated before, the ability to not only modify the description and the submission dates on a piece of work, but now also be able to copy an activity and redesign it for particular students, or even start brand new activities for students. How does that feature potentially allow you to better meet students' needs inside of Schoolbox? And will it help you better translate the policy that you have into Schoolbox practice? I should also preface that, you know, as James was talking about earlier, this is just a part of our larger vision, and that's what's coming as part of this release. But obviously, I know that you're going to talk at your tables about, you know, where it goes from there and the sort of the extension of that, and we'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, just focusing maybe probably on what we've shown you today and having a discussion around what comes next as well. Thanks.
Third question for this campfire session is, what is your approach to AI within your school's feedback practices? Do you create a common approach to how AI is used, or do you upskill staff to make their own informed decisions? And we know that not every school is using AI at the moment, and that is perfectly fine, but we would love for you to share those challenges and those reasons with each other. Back over to you.
Hey, we're going to move on to our next question now. So we're all, you know, assessment is really a two-phase thing, at least traditional assessment. You know, there's that workflow to get students to submit their work and hand it in so that we can actually have that evidence in our hands to make our teacher judgments. But there's also that second phase, what happens after submission. So that's what I'm referring to by post-submission. So things like moderation, you know, things like finding exemplars to keep in folders somewhere for future years, things like quality checking, AI checking, whatever it might be. So how have your post-submission assessment workflows been enhanced by digital tools? So those things that we do as teachers to make sure that we can release those grades in a timely manner, you know, how have those moments been enhanced by digital tools? And what tools do you use for these workflows? And are there still pain points in that part of your teaching and learning that are still painful and you need to overcome? Like I said before, you know, if you've ever been onto our help forums and looked at the Teaching and Learning Help Forum, there's lots of different suggestions that users have made around our functionality. And every release, we make sure to publish, as part of our release notes, all the different forum suggestions that have been acted upon and put into the product. And we're very, very active inside of those forums. If anyone has seen Jez in the room, you'll recognize his face on many replies. So yeah, what are those things that you're still needing to overcome? Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. I'll get your attention over here for our last question of the campfire session. So it's this together. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. The last question for this campfire session is all about cohort data. How is cohort data used at your school to inform future assessment? How are you surfacing this data? Who is responsible for the cleanliness of the data? When you have all of this rich data at your fingertips around performance in assessment and outcomes that you might be marking against, how are you as a school leveraging that to improve the outcomes for future students?
I'm just going to bring us all back together now. Thank you so much, everyone. walked around the room, heard a lot of really rich conversations. Thank you to those that have asked questions. Thank you to the other Schoolboxes that have sort of sat at tables and provided a bit of Schoolbox perspective as well. I really just want to end with this quote here, that assessment is today's means of modifying tomorrow's instruction. You know, when we grade student assessment, when we take submission, when we gather that evidence, it's a snapshot in time of that student's ability at that moment. But as we all know as educators, it is not the end of that journey for that student. And that's why we kind of put that last question out there, because I think that assessment is not just about the now, but it is about the next. It is about looking to that student or to students that take that assessment after them. What are we going to do in order to make sure that we are constantly striving to improve student outcomes? And so assessment is just a snapshot of that moment. It is not the end of the journey. So I hope you've got some really great discussions out of this. I encourage you to continue them, between sessions, at break times. There is a lot of Schoolbox knowledge within the schools that we work with. Some really, really great leaders in their spaces for assessment. Lily personally will be uploading these slides post Meetup, so you will get access to these slides. If you've been taking photos, you can keep those, but there will be a nice presentation deck for you to look through, and that will be the case, I think, for all Meetup slides. Is that correct?
I'll be doing all of them Monday morning.
Yeah, all of them Monday morning, so you can give your camera a break with that knowledge. I would just encourage everyone, if you don't already know about Schoolbox Help, you can scan your QR code, or if you go into your instance, into your version of Schoolbox, click on your profile icon, and if you have been provisioned, and if you're not, I apologize, that's something you can talk to a super user about at your school, but if you can see the online help button under your profile picture, Schoolbox Help is a really great place to keep conversations going. It's a really great place to engage with the different user groups that we have. We have regional user groups for our states and for our international customers. We have specific groups around interest areas. We also have our help forums around feature requests, and I mentioned those earlier, across all sorts of different categories as well. So I would encourage you to check out that space, to continue upskilling, to continue seeking information, to continue the discussions after Meetup. I really hope you enjoy the rest of your day. There's about 8 minutes now between this session and the start of the next, so feel free to go freshen up with a glass of water or another cup of coffee and have a little bit of a leisurely stroll to your next session, and I look forward to talking more throughout the 2 days. Thank you very much.